Hi guys, it's Birb here and welcome to today's Friday's special premium webinar. I'm going to specially commit evening straight from Dubai to actually just dedicate with some knowledge, with some tips, with some experience, with some valuable thoughts, market analysis for Bitcoin, for altcoins, for DeFi, okay, and more. There are going to be a Q&A sessions pretty much just following up right after that. And if you stay tuned for long enough, you're going to get your questions covered. So if you're in for the ride, everybody, let's give it a go and launch the webinar. Okay. Hi everybody. Once again, there are so many beautiful comments, beautiful people in the comments as well. I can see some Polish people, Cześć Edmund. I can see my beautiful private mentoring students. Hi. I can see some questions about Dubai. No, I'm not moving in here. I'm just here doing some stuff which I cannot reveal just yet, but I'm sure you're going to love the updates that I'm going to have for you in the upcoming days. And everybody, the truth is that Bitcoin has recently crashed. It did have some sort of like a flash crash event. Okay, so the question that many of you actually may be having right in your heads is like, what comes next? Like, is this the end of the bull market? Is this another bear market? What about the altcoins? What about the DeFi? What about longs, shorts? Is it like, what about the end of the quarter four? Like if still any the legendary alt seasons are coming and everything. Okay, so we're going to get it covered, everybody, right away. And I have got for you a couple of charts that I want to present. Okay, and if you're okay with that, I can share my screen right away. Okay, and but before I do, I want to remind for everybody who's new, to everybody who's just joined the stream on my Twitter, on the Birb Nest's Twitter, or on the official account of the Birb Nest on YouTube. Okay, everybody, please make sure that you're following the very right accounts. There are so many impersonators, so many scammers. We're not going to DM you. We're just simply too busy to DM everybody in person and offer you some bullshit kind of like mining deals or whatever. So that's not us. These are the impersonators. Stay alerted. Stay aware of it. Okay, there are many scammers. And to protect yourself against the scams, just make sure you hit that subscribe button to this very account on YouTube, on Twitter. Make sure, guys, you hit that ring the notifications bell on as well to stay alerted whenever the new episode comes out. Okay, or a new piece of content. Every single day there is a new video to support our traders, our beautiful community. Okay, coming each and every single day. And for your information, again, adding the screen sharing options. Okay, let's start off by giving a quick overview on what's been going on for Bitcoin. Okay, everybody, please confirm that you can see my screen in the chats. I'll be looking at it from time to time from the comments. List all your questions that you get in the meantime, because I'm going to commit to a short Q&A session at the very end. It's supposed to last for about 45 minutes in total, so let's try to squeeze under this time, okay? Because it's late evening already in Dubai. To start off, we had recently seen significant breakdown of a trend line, which was pretty much like just anchored and started in here on 29.2, lows of 21st of July, 21st of July, which was the exact bottom, which many of you know that I called out publicly in Twitter, on YouTube. There are so many YouTube videos that you can literally just scroll back and the evidence is just down there. Okay, this is not something that I'm pretty much just making up. The evidence is there. If you don't believe that, first of all, I have nothing to prove. I don't have to prove anything to anybody, to be honest, because the record, the evidence, the recognition are all there. Okay, the brand defends itself if it's right and good. Then the trend line, this fancy trend line that I was commenting on the breakdown for when it happened. The breakdown when it happened, I referred to that in all the premium webinars, in all the premium videos, premium exclusivity reports I'm sharing. I share with my community in the exclusive corners of the Birb Nest on a regular basis, or anywhere on Twitter. I threw in a couple of charts at least saying how wobbly the trend usually becomes after breaking out the trend line. Okay, so the trend line got broken down. So what it meant from the technical point of view is that there was, that this previous trend line that was held in here, here, and here previously was not really of much use anymore. Okay, so this trend line, which is the line showcasing you the direction of a trend, which is directional movement of price. Okay, trend line and trend are two different things. So trend line is a line that shows you the trend. Okay, but this is not the same, completely not equal, two different terms and definitions. So the trend as the price directional movement, it stopped respecting a certain angle of growth. It stopped respecting certain, I should say, momentum. Okay, the trend slowed down. And when the trend slows down, it is an information that that the bulls, if they are who previously had the control, that the bulls are running out of steam, that the bulls are literally just getting harder and harder for making the trend pursue and continue. Okay, so what it meant again is despite we made a new high, despite we made a new high, which still was considered some sort of like a breakdown retest. Okay, although despite it was higher, so this breakdown retest was of warnings already. I kept repeating ever since I believe high 40s. Like I cannot give you the pinpoint date, but for the past 2 or 3 weeks before the crash happened, for the prior weeks, I had been repeating over and over again in each and every single post, each and every single like message I was doing for the people, for the members, about realizing the profits. Okay, many people, because of me being extremely bullish in here, a low SAP, 30K, which is when I pretty much like just dropped, the like again evidence, right? We can put in CRYPTOBIRB 300K, and what pops out is, let's say, what pops up is at my tweet from 23rd of July, right? Which says that odds of catching perfect bottom are lower than winning the lottery ticket, which is very right. Do not ever attempt to sell the bottom, or sorry, I mean to sell the bottom even worse, but to sell the top or buy the bottom. So while sell boys were hoping for 90% crash to buy cheap, macro indicators shouted out minus 60% was cheap enough. Okay, through climax on 30K breakdown made me add $300,000 to my long-term holdings just today. All right, so that was the very bottom day. If you go back to the chart, that was literally the very, very bottom day, right? This is this 21st of July. Okay, this is the very, very final bottom day, and ever since, we've been pumping like crazy on Bitcoin, which is something that is, I should say, abnormal for Bitcoin to pump in one shot for more than 60%. And what we did instead is we pumped for more than 60%. We pumped for more than 70% from the bottom. We pumped actually for more than 80%. So there was this 20 percentage points over the regular pumps, let's say, if you will, for Bitcoin, okay, which were telling me that, whatever happened on Bitcoin, this from some like 60% plus regions, or 70% plus regions, not to mention, were already overextended, deviated against the average. So what we saw as the crash occurred, okay, this was some sort of a sell the news type of event. Okay, sell the news because that's what I say. You buy the rumor, sell the news. Whatever you heard, let's say back in the day that Pfizer was working on the COVID vaccines, the price stock, the stock, the Pfizer stock prices went up aggressively. And what happened on the let's say final kind of like a breakout day within some certain period, like a couple of months ago, for Pfizer, there was a CEO who literally just got and sold 60% of his shares for Pfizer, right? Dumped it right into the market and faking out and tricking and trapping everybody buying the breakout, okay? So sell the news type of event. You buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Depending on what type of strategy, or should I say style, system you have and trade and follow, right? Then the results, the moves, the decisions you make, look a bit differently, right? If you're a mean reversion trader, let's say, then you buy every mean reversion. You buy this, you buy this. Okay, mean reversion, which means that whenever the trend is heavily overextended or deviated against its average, which is here the volume weighted average price, which you can find. I saw some comments asking, this on TradingView. Okay, here is the anchored view up, volume weighted average price. You just click on that, okay, and anchor, let's say, from where you want it to be marked. If you want it to be marked and know the very first fair price of Bitcoin ever since this peak, okay, of May before the major crash happened, okay, then it tells you that the average price of Bitcoin is 39.4048. Okay, if you ever want to know the average price of Bitcoin, the fair price of Bitcoin based on volume, ever since its last final leg up, which I consider valuable from the technical point of view, then you anchor it at this very point, and what you get, okay, is you get that the average price of Bitcoin, the fair price of Bitcoin, deciding upon a volume, is at 43.618. Okay, so you do not definitely want to buy heavily extended and heavily deviated moves right above the average. You don't want to sell similarly heavily extended and heavily deviated regions below the average, okay, which was anchored at the very all-time highs. So the very all-time high original kind of like just volume weighted average price anchored at the all-time highs of April, 10th or of 12th of April, something like that. Exactly the exact day that I posted I bought RS7, which many people hated me for. This pinpoint literally the very very final top, by the way. You can you can literally just pin that with and see I was right. But still, $42,000 is the average price of Bitcoin ever measured since the peak. So the two main average prices that I'm paying the most attention to, okay, is the average price based on volume right now for the 12-hour chart, which is my favorite time frame. I hope, by the way, it's displaying well. Right, ever since the all-time high, which tells me that since the all-time high happened, which is definitely an extreme case for Bitcoin, very important date on the calendar marked, ever since then, the average and fair price of Bitcoin is 42,086. For the final leg up that led to the major $53,000 retest, the fair price of Bitcoin is 43.6. Okay, ever since the local crash happened, that average price of Bitcoin is 47,068. So we can tell, that that there are the price action of Bitcoin is to some local extent trapped between the resistance of the volume weighted average price and the support area. Okay, two volume based averages being located one to another, like one next to another. This creates a demand zone. Okay, and it is certain that if there is an average, then whatever goes out aggressively above the average, it's bound to not only revert, but also usually deviate against the other average. I mean, against the same average, but in the other direction. Okay, so this deviation, the measure, if you measure this deviation, right, then the more aggressive the deviation gets, the bigger the deviation gets, the bigger the signal it is that the market is overextended, the market is overly pumped, right? It's reaching levels high above its original average fair price. So the higher it goes, the more profits you take off. Same way in here, but in the other direction, right? So the lower it goes, below its fair price, just like it was in here, in here, in here. So basically, every maximum, deviation, every maximum length distance of Bitcoin price against its average, okay, has been confirmed and is confirmed to be of great buying opportunity. So we had recently seen with this sell the news where El Salvador accepted officially, publicly, and every single newspaper was pretty much just hot about it and very loud and messy about this fact. There was a definitely huge trending topic about Bitcoin being accepted as a popular or legal tender for the very first time in its history. So many people just literally rushed in to buy that. Many normies, many people who do not trade on a daily basis, many people who are completely outside of this trading world. Okay, so this sadly is a liquidity supply. This is a liquidity provision. Those people are liquidity providers. They do provide liquidity for the whales, okay? Because the only thing that the whales care about is the liquidity. And what is relevant if we narrow down to lower time frames, then this is the chart you may want to be aware of, okay? So this is a certain pattern. Like, again, the arrows that I gave in there are about the concept, right? Do not like literally copycat it or copy paste it and expect that whatever squiggle line I just put in there, that the price action has to go there, otherwise I'm fucking dumb and idiot and I cannot do a technical analysis, right? So I, as a certified technical analyst, as a certified market technician in here, which is very rare in this space, I'm here to tell you that because technical analysis is a self-fulfilling prophecy to a very large major extent, okay, we consider certain support to be our backups, to be our reference points, okay? So our reference points after the crash occurred is definitely the high and that is the low. Similarly to the all-time high and the low of 28.8, right? So these 2 points on the chart, on the map, are our main reference point. The closer to the lower part of it we get, the cheaper the Bitcoin gets, right? The closer to the higher boundaries we get, the more expensive Bitcoin gets. Okay, and based on these 2 levels, you can position yourself and decide whether you're buying in expensively or cheaply. So how to answer that question now? Well, guess what? You are in the perfect middle. So the question is doesn't make sense for the high time frame traders that take a couple of months to open and close a position, whether it is a good deal or not, to buy something that provides you with equally large distance for the loss as an as large distance for the potential reward. So this risk to reward trade equals approximately 1. While the official CMT, Chartered Market Technician Association standpoint is that you should trade at least 3.0 risk to reward. So that means that you have 3 times more to win rather than lose. Okay, and there's 3 times much bigger upside potential than the losses potential, let's say. Then it is a deal that it's worth taking. Otherwise, you are just a gambler. Okay. So again, knowing that Bitcoin is locally trapped between 47s and the demand cluster in there, right? You can expect it like quite, I should say, quite likely, simply, probably, okay, to oscillate between those boundaries. And on top of that, it aligns well with my vision of something that or not even a vision, but an experience-based pattern that I call the PTSD. Okay, so what always happens with Bitcoin after severe crashes, unexpected crashes, is that the market reacts in a form of a PTSD behavior. So what does it mean? PTSD is a post-traumatic stress disorder, right? This is some sort of like a disease that happens to you after experience something very, very traumatic in your life. So the very first, because market consists of people are who create the market. The market is an institution, right? This is an institution involving people, 2 sides, 2 parties of a deal, right? The buyer and the seller, in the space, the economic space around them, ensuring the exchange is possible. Okay, that is a market. Whether it's physical or digital, it's pretty much like irrelevant. But what matters more is that because the market equals people, plus environment, but the main factor is people. If people see their liquidation note, right, on the email, so what happens is you first think, okay, this is impossible. It cannot be happening to me, right? Like, what did I do? Why life is so bad for me? Why God hates me, right? What did I do wrong? And you react with denial. So first of all, you react with the denial. You deny the fact that something like that could have happened to you, right? Be it because you forgot the stop loss, right? Be it because you overexposed yourself. Be it because you took out the loans out of bank and borrowed the money from all your family and fucked it up with a no stop loss position on 50x leverage. Who knows? Whatever that is, there's a denial to start with, and this denial tells you that you take time to mentally recover the fact that you liquidated. And guess what? $4 billion of dollars, which is proportionally big amount of money from the people and big number of people who got liquidated on the crash, on the drop, 20% drop, which I, by the way, had highlighted so many times on the webinars. On like, feel free to scroll literally on the YouTube. We have so many of this. What I'm saying is real and true. Not to mention the hundreds of posts I did for the Birb nest. So all of these included very significant warning, okay, about the market. First of all, of course, being heavily overextended, but then, what happens when you literally lose a lot of money, you take time to recover. And the market consists of people, so the market has to take time to recover, right? So the first thing, as I kind of like bringing this example recently, is like what Mike Tyson says: everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Cześć Dorian, right? So what it means, again, like, every trader has a plan until the market punches them in the face, until the whales punch them in the face. So you have your plan, you have a strategy often until something crashes. And then you take time, right, to figure out, okay, first of all, to go through the denial, which may take, which may take days, hours, days, weeks. Guess what? For some people, they would never escape the denial. They would always think and search for blame outside themselves. They would always come to my fucking Twitter to blame me that they lost their entire 5 generations fucking wealth, right? Because they put it on 100x leverage, reading from my joke tweet or meme, whatever, right? So it takes time for the market to recover. And until the market recovers and / becomes quote unquote technical or rational again, it usually takes a couple of days or a couple of weeks, okay, to shake off the denial. And this is what I call the PTSD time on the market. It happens, this type of a pattern, behavioral pattern, a chart pattern, happens always after significant unpredicted crash, okay? And the only reference points we have, right? The only reference points we have are the points defined by like local, boundaries. So since the market crashed, okay, it actually had very significant, of course, volatility. The biggest volatility happens always on the reversals. So you had the low in here on 43 or slightly below, and 48 or 49. Okay, these are the $6,000 range sideways is the PTSD environment, where the market is not technical, when the market is not predictable, when the market is risky and volatile. And people who have not come out of denial just yet are either there trying to like revert back and then revenge train and get liquidated all over again, or people stay away. So what you see as a result is this type of completely fucked up, price action that means little to nothing, because the only reference from the technical and behavioral point of view, you have the high area of the range and the low area of the range. There is no trend on the market. And guess what? The best trading systems, the most profitable trading systems, rely on the trending markets, which is trending up or trending down. So if you do not trade in any direction and you just go back and forth, right, and like with no, I should say, sequence in a certain direction, then you're clueless. And by trying to overtrade this and revenge trade this, you're constantly providing liquidity for the whales. And I promise you, if you're doing that, and I know many of you probably are, right? So if you are doing that, then I promise you, you will get liquidated. And you're going to get liquidated within the matter of not years or months, but within days and hours. And you have my fucking word for that. Okay. By the way, I hope my connection, my hotel room Wi-Fi is actually just good enough. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Please let me know in the comments. Okay, and for everybody who's just joined in, there are 845 people, which is, I think, record high for the viewers. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, share the video if you will, as well. Leave some kind comments, okay? And I'm very happy to be seeing you on the chat. So so I was saying about the sideways, right? The only ways to trade sideways, if you have a sideways price action which is not trending, right, which is limited by the boundaries of the extreme high or extreme low, right? There are three ways to trade it, as I often refer that, right? To my reports, within my reports or the video updates on YouTube and everywhere. The strategy number one is that you buy the range lows and sell the range highs, right? So these are the inside range trading strategies. The other way is outside range trading, okay? So you buy the breakout or better breakout retest, okay, for longs, or you sell the breakdown or breakdown retest for shorts, which is playing the retests rather than breakouts give you like the bigger edge, because it's so often that you, just like you had in here over 51K, you know, when you longed the breakout and instead of the fake out, you know, you pretty much like just got yourself trapped. So in case of fake outs, which often happen on an extreme market reversals condition, you get yourself trapped and you lose a lot of money, right? So inside trading range, outside trading for the range, and the third strategy is that you do not trade the range at all, right? So my suggestion for as long as we stay inside the range is so that you get your bids, you know, as close to $43,000 lows as possible, and you set your sells if you want to trade inside the range, okay, for 48, 49. Then if for the strategy number two, which I strongly recommend way more over inside the range trading, is you buy the breakout retest, right, or you sell the breakdown retest, which in my opinion would rather not really happen, right? Funnily enough, let me show you something, right? Hope everybody can see my screen, by the way. Let me just show it very quick. Right? I need to find it for your own better context. Let me just find it. By the way, let me know if you watched the new trailer for Matrix 4. I love it. There it was, right? There was my concept for the price action given, you know, in July, right? In July, saying that we would peak at this exact level of $52,000, $53,000 at this exact floor, you know, of this kind of like a hammer-looking candle, which is not hammer, because candle patterns, kind of formations depend on the context, right? So this was more of a hangman stuff. This exact level, and if we go to the weekly chart, here is what you are going to see. I have not literally just changed anything. This is the same squiggle that I presented in there, right? And if you narrow down to lower time frames, right? If you narrow down to lower time frames, or you know, like give it for the for the weekly, right? Then we are talking about pretty much the perfect pinpoint in here. And how is it possible? You know, how is it possible? Some people tell, okay, like broken clock is right 2 times a day. Like this is my favorite fucking dumbest, comment. I'm always smile when I read. Then, this was an area that I had been informing and warning about for a couple of months straight. This was a concept which I gave, in June before, and July in public. You have to take the understanding about the risk. So if you know that based on the technicals, based on the volume, right, based on overall momentum loss and everything, right, everything from the technical, launching, fundamental, or sell the news point of view, whatever, and you refuse to respect that, right, then it's on you. Then it's on you, everybody. And as I say, as long as we are inside the range, there are 3 strategies, right? So we are very clear about Bitcoin. So how does it correlate with altcoins then? Well, if we go to the hopefully this is a altcoin versus Bitcoin price chart, okay, on the left scale, which is the block chart. Which is the orange chart. Orange chart is a Bitcoin price. Okay, this is a Bitcoin price with price in there. Note, okay, 45,379. This black curve is a market cap excluding BTC, which is pretty much like just altcoins market capitalization, which shows you the trend of altcoins. Okay, so what is relevant? What is relevant to you is that first of all, Bitcoin is way over its lows. Like, there were the lows for altcoins, there were the lows for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is pricing right now below the same lows, and altcoins are, well, above, right? So there is some, you can also see the declining tendency, of course, right? So there is some conclusion perhaps to be drawn, okay, that Bitcoin has crashed more than the altcoins per se, right? And relatively for its own, let's say, that's where altcoins would be if they mimicked Bitcoin perfectly. So what is the most relevant thing is that as long as Bitcoin remains in the PTSD environment, this goes back and forth, pretty much like just without any clear direction, and this boosts the uncertainty for altcoins as well. This is an uncertainty factor, but with this difference that altcoins, out of better luck, serve as a, I should say, not capital protection, but a place for a replacement, like the other choice, the latter choice, for investors. So if they see Bitcoin is not moving, some part of capital is just transitioning to Bitcoin, to altcoins, right? So as long as Bitcoin price declines, there's an overall, you can tell, defense mode for altcoins. They are not trending up locally, but they are not taking as big hit as Bitcoin did. Okay, so there is some slowdown for altcoins, but not crash per se. Okay, so what it means again is that altcoins are taking it relatively well. You don't see, you do not see perhaps more than even 1/3 or half of the entire potential that Bitcoin, when you compare that with Bitcoin. I think altcoins are somewhere over here if you mimic the charts, right? So they work as some sort of like a, how to call it, a hideout for you, like a go-to place, right? But it's still sprinkled with a lot of uncertainty coming from the PTSD, right? Because guess what? People not only lost money on Bitcoin, but they also lost money on altcoins because of the liquidations, because of the high volatility, right? So I highly recommend you guys refer back to my previous video. I can actually just show it to you, hopefully right now. I'm not going to play it, of course, but just like Nia said, or I should say Morpheus said, we just watched Matrix like recently, Matrix, and there was like, I can show you the door, but you need to go through it, right? So this is the same thing that I'm doing right now. I was giving you everybody Where was that? This was the video. Okay, our yet biggest video with 14,000 views, which is something very good. Where I was explaining the legendary alt season, okay, which is pretty much like was predicting the top, or should I say predicting the concepts for the quarter. Okay, he was calling pretty much like just Bitcoin and talking about the importance of $53,000 region volume cluster on a daily basis. When Bitcoin was trading at $42,000, which is very clear in the video, right? And I was also talking about like how important that was. Let me just actually find it. I was talking about the superposition effect. Hopefully it is included in there, right? There it is. Yes. So this is a very good very good part, very good webinar to go back to. Okay, I'm going to post it in here for you guys. So feel free to go for it. I'm going to somehow, I don't know, I cannot pin it, it seems. But with all that, Bitcoin and altcoins right now, uncertainty, while altcoins are actually just taking less hit than Bitcoin, I would still not feel completely sure and certain about altcoins, because guess what? When Bitcoin gets too shaky, altcoins are kind of like on the standby. There's only short-term capital on there, which is pretty much like all about the unrealized profits, right? So what I'm thinking, everybody, is that if we're planning to enter altcoin markets aggressively, okay, with the biggest urgency, with the biggest, expectations for 100x pumps, like go big or go fucking home, then I promise you, if you overinvest yourself right now, you would have no home to go back to. Okay, you get wiped out of this earth as a trader, as an investor. So there's a question, and before I actually just move to the question sections, what about the golden cross in BTC in 2-3 days? This is a very good question. And well, this is nothing but an actual confirmation for my thoughts, right? This is an actually DeFi perpetual index, by the way. Before we let me just refer back very quick to the Bitcoin's golden cross, because here's a very similar case. The golden cross is when 50-day moving average crosses over 200-day moving average, which is lower. So the same cross, I'm actually just displaying again the DeFi industry as a whole, the DeFi index, right? But I'm displaying that actually like as a 2-in-1 case study, because Bitcoin is exactly presenting the same scenario. Okay, so this golden cross, 50 versus 200 moving average, crossover is bullish, right? It lags a lot. So if you apply that as a short-term signal, it may happen that you enter at the very peak when it's heavily deviated against its average, just like it was here, right? And then you say, like, technical analysis doesn't work, right? Like, guess fucking what? If you do not apply maths properly, if you cannot add, take numbers and figures, if you cannot summate stuff, if you cannot fucking multiply, right? Then maths don't work either for you, right? So it's not about the technical analysis being wrong. It's about you being fucking like, unable to use it well, right? So don't blame. Again, it's just because, it gets me. It's not really getting me on my nerves, because I'm really kind of like neutral about it. But I just wish so, like, I really wish so that people, realize that their lives are, they do depend on them. I'm not saying are all in their heads, because I'm a Christian. I do believe in God, right? I do not believe in actual predestination, right? Because it's your choice whether you actually just take the right path or the easier path, right? And it's always easier to blame the market. It's always easier to blame the fucking, temperature, weather, right? Some people, presidents, governments, whatever. Like you can even blame maths or technical analysis that you fucking lost money, right? How dumb is that? You lost money because you cannot trade well, right? And this is the denial that I've been talking about, right? If you deny that, no worries. If you deny that you were wrong and lost money, right? Then bad for you. you didn't lose much about me sharing the chart because I was just playing this chart. So this is a DeFi perpetual index, right? One more time to get you clear answer. And this, 50-day moving average versus 200-day moving average, the crossover of the shorter term moving average versus its longer term and slower average is about to happen in about a couple of days. So the same case study is going to happen for Bitcoin. Okay. Really need to go back and forth to see if you can see the charts. Sorry about that. But as long as it happens, this is a long-term signal. This is a long-term chart. Whatever signal happens is a long-term signal. Okay, and long-term signal has long-term implications, not short-term. Hence, it may happen that you see a bullish crossover on a daily basis and the price drops 10%, and there's nothing wrong about it, right? Right? Because what matters is that this confirms that in the next months, the overall tendency for the market is stronger to go up rather to go down. That's what this crossover stands for. Okay, and same thing is about to happen. I mean, for Bitcoin, you already saw the volume weighted averages, the shorter moving average for the volume, and versus the longer term, right? The shorter crossing over with the marked area, the marked circle, the crossover, bullish crossover, would show that this leg up, this leg up of Bitcoin crossed over, it fought, and won against its longer term average. So this shows you that on average, there is a stronger tendency for the market to go up rather than to go down, right? So, I'm confused. Sorry if this is out of context. I don't know if this is somebody on my team or if these are some impersonators in the house. I have no idea. Anyways, let's get through, because we covered Bitcoin, we covered altcoins, right, as a whole, where you were seeing hopefully all the charts that I was sharing with you in here, right? And for the Bitcoin price and for the overall upside tendency for the altcoins, right? The conclusions for BTC, the strategies to trade BTC right now within or outside the range, which is in my opinion a better case, right? You also know the overall DeFi tendencies, I should say, right? For the DeFi perpetual index, where the long-term direction is yet to be defined within the next cross, which is supposed to happen in the next days. Okay, and it may allow some flexibility on the price. It may even go down below the average. And guess what? Just like I said, for the mean reversion play, the lower it goes, the better buying opportunity it gets. Right? The higher it extends to the top direction, the weaker, the worse buying opportunity it is, the better sell opportunity that gets. Okay. So having discussed the Bitcoin, DeFi, altcoins, I'm here to also, guys, perhaps answer a couple of questions from you. Okay. And okay, let's just go for a couple of them. And let me see. By the way, guys, when I was talking in the meantime about the PTSD and denial, just try to watch it again if you didn't get it, but it is so obvious to me. It is so obvious when you have the knowledge, when you have got the experience, when you are learned, when you are taught to notice certain patterns, certain directions. It is exactly what helps me predict Bitcoin with quite a high accuracy, which is exactly why there are more than 360,000 people following right now on Twitter, right? And kind of reminder, we try to work well with the YouTube algo. So if you're new, just feel free to leave your kind comments, leave your thumbs up, leave your questions also in the comments, because there are so many questions which I'm not going to be able to respond well because of the lack of time. I'm running out of time slowly, right? So if you appreciate all the stuff that I've been sharing with you, okay, hit a subscribe button, smash the likes, leave the thumbs up, leave some, get your notifications bells on to know where we're just broadcasting next. Okay. And for those who are watching, there are 70, like 800 people right now in the hood, in the chat, watching the live, which is very good. I want to tell you that right after this show ends, and I want you to stay tuned for that. Right after this show ends, I'm going to do a giveaway. Okay, on a weekly basis, every single webinar that I host on Friday is including the giveaway. Okay, and it will include the giveaways. And you're going to be able to win 1 month of exclusive membership in the Birb Nest, where I get all the early warnings, all the early signals, market reversals, tips, and 24/7 myself, my team internationally just shared it with insanely large, if not the largest community of this kind ever since 2017. And if you think you're a good fit, if you are serious about your money, right, go ahead and apply and see if you're a good fit. We actually have 7 days free trial to see if you're a good fit. It's not about us being good fit. We have been here for the bear markets, for the bull markets, bear markets, FOMOs, FODs, biggest capitulations, biggest blow off tops, everything. Okay, we go for every single market that you find out there that is popular, and you can get 7 days free. Okay, no charges, no strings attached, no credit cards required. Just email your name and go through the application. Our automated system actually sets you up within the couple of seconds or minutes if you follow that correctly. And right in the nick of an eye, just pretty much just right after the show, right away, an exclusive member for 7 days free. Okay, I think that is a fair deal. You lose nothing and you gain everything. This may literally just fix your trading lessons. This may train you well and so much better to take your profits in time and get better entries. Okay, I hope it makes sense, and it's all free. We're not charging you for that. And let's take the questions. Okay, 2 free questions, very, very quick. Let me find some questions. What is a prediction of next resistance area? Is it again 52, 53? In my opinion, it's high 40s based on the mean reversion levels up to 51. Just like you saw in the chart that I was perhaps displaying, I was giving, first of all, let's get back to the 4-hour chart, right? I was giving you the 51,000 fake out level, which was pretty much just faked out all the way to 53,000. Ever since this high was violated and then pretty much just failed to hold as a support, right? And there was pre-breakdown level, right? Right before this huge, massive black candle happened, there was a tiny support, which once failed, resulted in this huge sell-off. So it means that there had to be special significance to this level, that this served as a last bullish bastion. Okay, so once this was cleared, the market was pretty much just blown up. So 5402 up to 51, in my opinion, is the next resistance, and pretty much just that's what it suggests, assuming that, of course, there's no worse escalation, no Afghanistan like bombarding countries and everything that would disrupt global markets to go risk off. Okay, hope that it makes sense. Do you trade Forex? So I personally do not trade Forex. I'm a big fan of usually being quality over the quantity. It's not about trading 100, pairs in general, 100 assets with 5 out of 10 quality. It's about trading 2 assets with 10 out of 10 quality. Okay, that's what makes you money. So I do not trade Forex. I do invest in other markets as well, commodities, real estate. Okay, I'm a big fan and proponent for portfolio diversification. Next today is bull or bear. I don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea. As long as it trades inside the range, it can go even fucking backwards. I don't know. Where can I find instruction on how I can use the Birb indicator? That is a very good question. We have it in here. Okay, and before I close the show for the evening, and before I gave you the giveaway, everybody, stay tuned. By the way, it's coming in 2 minutes. This is the Birb Pro product that we have that you can get. Okay, And there pretty much is the full instruction. Okay, it's 90 page long, pretty much this instruction that explains every single bit of detail about the Birbicator Pro. I hope it helps. It's on our website under the services, Birbicator Pro, and pretty much just in here. For more details, visit the full guide. Okay. Hey, Bird. First of all, I mean, I appreciate your question, but it is not Bird. It is Birb with the B at the end. If it is Bird, then it's not me, and I shouldn't be answering the question, to be honest. Is that a good time to buy right now for long hold till 2024? In my opinion, not. PTSD, sit tight. I should say relax rather than sit tight. Relax and wait until it shows you the direction. What do you think about Ethereum? The next few days will be bears or bulls. So same question. What is defined few days? Like for me, it may mean 2-3 days. For you, it may mean 6 days. Like, guys, we cannot talk about money well if you don't apply numbers. It's like you were a doctor and you couldn't use this specific biological references and names, and like you have to use numbers in finance. Without that, you're not concrete. And I promise you, I can tell perfectly just based on that who's going to make it, guys. Start applying numbers in your questions, in your way of thinking. Otherwise, I have no idea. You're inconcrete about it, right? And that is not intended at anybody personal, because this is an overall global generational problem. But I encourage and highly vow for you so that you start applying numbers. Okay. What do you think about Ethereum? I like it, right? I don't know if that answers your question. Is Anchor view up indicator available on TradingView? Yes, it is. What are your price BTC ranges for the coming weeks? Just like I decided and showed off for the range 43, 49. This is what I would expect for the price of Bitcoin to oscillate around. Would expect Q1 2022 bull run continuation bear market. In my opinion, this is going to be already bear market. I might be wrong, of course, but in my opinion, that's what it's going to be. Are you stick to your old prediction? Do you stick with your prediction that we're going to $90,000 to $140,000 range? In my opinion, I was saying 90 to 120,000, and yes, of course. Here's a Polish question about what I think about swipe. So same question, same answer. Like, I cannot be sadly specific about unspecific question, right? And you can tell that this is a repetitive pattern. It's not about anybody in personal, in specific. This is a generational big problem, that people do not use money or do not use concrete while talking about money. And guess what? Because that's what we are taught in school. Nobody in my schools ever fucking taught me how to read charts, right? How to interpret financial data, right? I believe it's a part of a big, larger agenda where they actually want you to be stupid, right? And stupid, like literally brainless, and just rely on the government, right? Trust them blindly to be the pop sockets. Yeah. What I think about swipe, again, TFA, like you mean on-chain sentiment, you mean right now in 5 minutes in the year, you mean if it's a good buy opportunity or if I know the founders, right? There's so many questions that I should be following up, right? I have no idea. Hard to answer. What do I think about swipe? I know of it. I don't trade it. In my opinion, it's relatively good quality project, assuming that the information I have are still valid. That's what I can tell. Okay, I think that is enough, everybody. I appreciate your questions. I'm going to answer more of the questions along with my team and for 24/7 international support that you're going to get if you sign up right now, right away for 7 days free on thebirbnest.com. Okay, this is a free trial that you're going to get. Just go there to thebirbnest.com, sign up free, right up a corner, and you're going to get in, and there you can ask your questions. And that's the time for everybody to wrap this show up and get you the giveaway, the promised giveaway. So right after I actually go off with the camera. I want to say that I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the support. I want to remind so that you hit the subscribe button, smash the likes, leave some kind comments if you enjoyed that. Okay, hit your notifications on as well to stay notified. And 1 month giveaway to the exclusive membership of the Birb Nest for the exclusive Nest Club is where all the action and community happens ever since 2017. It's coming in a moment, and everybody stay tuned and make sure that you're blessed, that the God blesses you with all the best love, which he always does. And stay tuned, everybody, for the giveaway. It's coming. That's all. Peace out.